For some reason the word beyond kept coming into my day today, so I think about beyond, and then I realised that beyond, when we chant the Heart Sutra, one of the most, at the very end we say Gate Gate, Paragate, Parasamgate, Bodhisvaha, and that means, do you know what that means? Mm. It means gone, gone, gone beyond, gone completely beyond. And so, gone, gone beyond, gone completely beyond. What is this beyond that you've gone beyond? That's what I'm thinking. What is the beyond? What is, what does it mean? Gone beyond, gone completely beyond. Well, one of the first places to start, as you know, this practice is essentially, only finally about your own life. And what you mean by your own life changes, I've discovered, with age. Do I own this life? What is life? What is your? The whole thing is a really interesting question. What is your life? But that's a whole nother. We could talk about that. But in the context of this Gate Gate, Paragate, Parasamgate, Bodhisvaha, what has that got to do with your life? And I think one of the first places to look, and I think for all of us is one of the basic issues is the contradiction between the inevitability of change and impermanence, which is guaranteed, and our resistance to it. And that it's a very bottom line of Zen practice is that can we really embrace impermanence, or are we always going to try and find some kind of bulwark, some kind of way of resisting it? So, in the context of your own life, what do you think beyond means? There's an interesting question.
Beyond the story of me.
Beyond the story of you, yeah. Good. Yeah.
Beyond doubt.
Beyond doubts, yeah.
Beyond life and death.
Beyond life and death, yeah. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Beyond.
Beyond. I guess that's valid if you knew what the first beyond was, that you were going to go beyond. It's kind of like
beyond existence and non-existence.
Beyond existence and non-existence. These are all valid things, but let's look at it this way. Say you choose to stay within the boundaries, the limitations of your own comfortable places, which we all do. We all would like to be there. And, these are why we have limitations, and why we don't do things or not do things, and why, coincidentally or in parallel, we also feel restricted. Now, what does it take to retain the idea you have of how you'd like to live and how you'd like the world to respond to you, and dealing with impermanence if you resist it? So, I mean, how does it take energy to stay safe inside your own skin in terms of the parameters that you bring to bear?
Or to pretend that you're safe, because that change is going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
And the only difference is how you approach it.
Yeah, I agree.
For my own life right now, I love the story of the Buddha when he told the woman who was grieving to go to the house and find a mustard seed.
You okay?
So this sense of like, everyone suffers.
Yeah.
So that to me holds me.
Well, for me, staying within the limitations that we set on ourselves and our expectations and our wishes for security and safety take a lot of energy. It's a day-to-day, it's an hour, it's a minute-to-minute business, it's an hour-to-hour job. Even when you go in the shop or in a cafe, how are people going to respond to you, and would you be offended, and worries about old age and death. All these things are all the time kind of bubbling away. So to maintain the status quo, I see, requires quite a lot of energy, and then we invest that energy, and for most of us, actually maintaining being in the status quo finally doesn't feel very satisfactory. So we put a lot of energy into being something which nevertheless we feel not really happy with. I mean, the Buddha called it suffering, and of course there are lots of levels of suffering, but I think it can incrementally build up. The tighter and tighter, or the more of a cage we create ourselves, the more we suffer. So, going beyond, for me, in this, within this context, is what Suzanne said. It's letting go of the effort to keep things within the defined limits that we impose on ourselves. So, you could say it's going beyond the gateless gate. That's what the gateless gate is. A gateless gate is a gate that doesn't exist. It's a gateless gate. But nevertheless, it really feels like it exists. It really feels like we're limited. And so, in a way, my experience is what initially brings people to a practice, and should we say Parisian as a spiritual practice, is when we first realise that actually we're not free. These are generalisations, and they may resonate with you more strongly or less. But to some degree, I guess, all of us feel, or maybe not all of us. A particular model of reality we have a particular model of reality which we want the world to fit into. We want our model of reality. We want the world to match it, and of course, the world doesn't give one fuck about our reality. So it's finally a losing battle. So going beyond is going beyond your comfort zone. So in a way, finally you've got two possible choices. You can dedicate your life to doing all the things you can to stay as much in your comfort zone as you would like to, and people do, and some people get away with it. They have a great life and they die. They think that was fine. But for most of us, the shit hits the fan at some point, and the comfort zone just isn't doing it anymore, or we can't even stay there. So we can either stay in the comfort zone, or we can choose to work on being more free. And I guess that's the essence of for me, of this practice. So how do we go beyond our limited idea of who we are our limited model.
Ideally, it's a dangerous word, shouldn't we lose all attachment to all things, including ourself, including our image of ourself, including our image of the universe, everything?
You know, Bhagwan Rajneesh said a lot of true things, but he said the word should is a 4-letter word. And I think I agree with him. I mean, the idea of should creates a lot of resistance in me, even to myself. If I say I should be doing this, I'm thinking, no.
I was more worried about the word ideally, but you're quite right.
Okay.
Should is also
but in theory, you're right, in theory you're right. From one perspective. Yeah. But I guess what I'm thinking is that what happens for a lot of us, as life proceeds, is that you whether you like it or not, you get kicked out your comfort zone. You don't really want to be, but you could have things like a divorce or a death, or your own illness, or all these things, and you realise actually you're not in charge, and it's difficult. Maurice, sorry.
For me, I have a form of words that might be helpful. This is going out of my depth.
Going out of your depth, yeah. It's a good way to say it, yeah. That's fine. Going out of your depth. Are you? How good are you at going out of your depth?
I'm an expert.
Are you? Oh, good. Okay.
My newly 3-year-old granddaughter has been known to go like this and sing at the top of her voice, to infinity and beyond.
Great. Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
from a film, isn't it? I don't know. Toy Story. And I'm thinking of getting it tattooed from her forehead to remind myself and her to stick with that idea.
Well, here's the rub. So here's where the work comes in. If you are, assuming that you want to, because some folk quite like being in the comfort zone. I don't see any reason to move on. But if you do want to move on, the first job is to find out why you subject yourself to a particular limitation. Why do you? So, for example, if you're a person who is not outspoken in a situation in which perhaps you should be, why aren't you outspoken? Or if you're a person who feels that their physique is really important in terms of the way the world sees them, why do you think that? Or if you get up one morning and your hair's a terrible mess and you don't want to go out, why would you not want to go out with a terrible haircut? These are all interesting questions. What is it? Why have you made the decisions you have?
Is it out of fear?
Could certainly be out of fear, yeah. So, how about if, on a very, very small basis, to begin with, you did something that made you feel uncomfortable? I mean it. Just see how it feels. Why is this making me feel uncomfortable? So, whatever your modus operandi, whatever your addiction, whatever it is that you've got going that keeps you feeling safe, what's it like when you let go of it? And why do you feel insecure when you do let go of it? And even this conversation, this talk I'm giving, does that make you feel uncomfortable? Or does it feel irrelevant? All those things, yeah. So yeah, I mean, this talk is for me as well, you know, because I know we all know there are some people that dive off the diving board. There's some people who walk along and have a look and they think about it for a while and they dive. There's other people who run down the board and go straight in. And then there's people like me who sit on the board and put their feet in the water and think, what's it going to be like? Will it be too cold? So these are things to practice with, you know what? Yeah.
But you're surely not talking about going beyond your own sense of self-preservation, or are you? Because that's quite dangerous if you actually value life.
Of course, yeah. I mean, I'm not expecting you to drive your car at 70 miles per hour into a wall. That would be...
Well, it would be interesting for a while.
A very short while, yeah.
So how far should you go then?
I always thought it was a good way to go with some music you really like on the radio, up loud, 70 miles into the wall.
But part of our comfort zone is keeping us safe, isn't it? Part of a...
Sure,
part
yeah. We have to be really careful to distinguish what we're doing in terms of self-preservation as physical or safety, you know. Or I'm talking about more emotional and psychological, and you know, and as well physical risk, as long as you're not putting yourself, you know, at real danger. I mean, pardon?
Gurdjieff used to.
Gurdjieff used to, yeah.
Used to
Yeah.
have a deliberate car accident to see what would happen.
Yeah.
Really?
Is that right? And what's it called? The Naropa guy, cousin through material, John Trumper had a bad car accident, didn't he?
Was that deliberate then?
Well, I don't think so. Anyway, the next time something happens, you feel like you've really got to defend your position. That's a good place to start. See what it's like to not. Okay, I'm done. I don't know if anybody's got any comments or things they'd like to share.
I was just thinking what you're saying about aging, you know, because it seems like, you know, you said earlier, like maintaining your comfort zone, it turns out is quite uncomfortable a lot of the time because you're putting so much energy in. But part of that for me, and I guess for other people as well, you know, as you get older, is wanting to be younger, you know, wishing I didn't feel quite as tired as I do.
I'd noticed that, John.
Yeah, well, thank you. The illusion is maintained. But, you know, it's a reality that hits you every day, isn't it? Is that you know, you're not 20 anymore, much as you'd like to be, maybe, or not. But actually, just accepting where you are is going beyond that delusion, I guess. You know, I read the other day that D.T. Suzuki, who was 90 at the time, was having a philosophical debate with somebody who was 80, and his response to him was, "You're far too young to know this yet." So there are some benefits, John. Yeah.
For me, there's a sort of daily challenge, a daily debate that goes on between what feels like my attempts to keep barbarians from the gate, to maintain certain standards, including all appearance and health and fitness and so on, and an alternative, the opposite side is an awareness of, as John says, of aging, of decline, and thinking maybe it's wiser just to accept that decline. And that is really, for me, right now, the sharp end of practice. Really, it's a daily thing. How much do I accept the fact that I can't do the things I used to do, and simply embrace the things I can? And how much do I think, no, I'm going to try and get back to fitness, and that really is so much of this whole debate about, am I just wasting my time trying to fix things that are basically impermanent, but I'm trying to hold impermanence at bay? Or am I actually trying to live in a really full way? And I don't know. I'm really confused.
Yeah. Good place to be, isn't it?
No. No, I don't like that bit of not knowing.
Okay. I mean, the Buddha really did put his finger on it, didn't he? He really did, you know. If we could all fully embrace impermanence, we would all be a lot happier. And even within the embracement of impermanence, there's still no reason why you shouldn't go canoeing and cycling and doing weights and feeling the joy of that, feeling the joy of your body and that.
Do you think meditating on your own death is a good practice?
It's, somebody else's is more preferable. I was thinking of those Tibetans who meditate on a decaying corpse. Yeah.
Because when you do, when you fully accept your own mortality, it's a tremendous release.
Has that been your experience?
Yes, I haven't done it much, but yes.
Okay, that's great. Right.
Because if you face up to it, then there is nothing to fear. So, death isn't to fear. Impermanence no longer need hold any fear. Because you faced up to it, you know it's going to happen, so why not?
All these things are very self-evident to us intellectually, but for most of us, actually really embodying them is not easy.
That's why it's a good idea to meditate on it, perhaps.
Pardon?
That's why it's a good idea to meditate on it, to really dwell on it.
Well, it's great you should give us that advice, given that's why we're all here. Meditating.
I mean, I hesitate to give advice, I'm just giving from my own personal experience.
Okay. Okay.
I'm no sensei.
No. Thank you, I'm only teasing you.
You do it
People here get used to prefacing an opinion with the personal pronoun, and then there's no confusion. It's not like it's a declaration of reality. It's how I feel. So, quite useful to use I.
I try to do away with it.
You try to do away with it?
With I, yes.
Do you? How are you doing? Thank you.
Could just add one thing if I could. This is that what we're doing here tonight needs courage.
It's courage.
Courage.
Yeah, I agree.
And everyone who is here tonight has shown enough courage.
Yeah.
And that really is something admirable.
I really agree. Thank you. It's true.
Yeah.
Thank you. We'll finish on that. Yeah. Inspirational. Thank you.